Welcome to M6 News Now, January 12, 2023. I'm Nate Clark.
And I'm Kaz Carty.
Last week, Pope Benedict XVI passed away on Saturday, December 31st, 2022, at the age of 95 years old. On the following Thursday, his body was buried at St. Peter's Basilica, where his predecessor was also buried. At the same time, Pope Francis gave his final farewell during the funeral with regards of Benedict's legacy. Around 50,000 people were there to watch the ceremony in person, and many more across the world through live streams.
National news was struck with a shocking story January 5th, 2023. The parents of an 11-year-old girl from North Carolina were formally indicted by a grand jury Tuesday for failing to report their daughter missing for more than 3 weeks. As it turns out, the girl was actually missing for a period of 45 days, as prosecutors reportedly pointed to a statute enacted in response to the 2008 Casey Anthony case in Florida years ago. The girl was last seen on video exiting a school bus with other children on November 21st by her home in Charlotte. Could this be a similar situation to the Kaylee Casey Anthony case? More to come as this story gets updated.
On January 3rd, 2023, West Palm Beach, Florida, we found out a teenager, Malachi Robinson, sentenced up to 2 years in prison after pleading guilty to stealing $10,000 from his employer. A great fraud who gained national infamy after he pleaded guilty to impersonating a doctor to defraud a patient. Court documents show that in 2020, Robinson was connecting shippers with trucking companies. Robinson would make them send money to the accounts he controlled. Robinson is going back to prison once again. Hopefully he will learn this time.
Debbie Stabenow is now retiring, creating a GOP pickup opportunity for Michigan. The Senate seat is now open, even though the Democrats have to save 23 seats in its next election. Mike Berg said his party will aggressively target this seat for Senate. This election will take place in Michigan at the state capitol in 2024.
On January 4th, 2 men robbed Port Huron's Walgreens. This robbery was unarmed, and the 2 men forcibly took the money from the register. It is still unknown how much money was taken 2 days. 2 days later, Port Huron Police Department located the 2 men, and they have been taken into custody.
A now former SC4 instructor said he was fired from the role after he refused to comply with the school's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Neil Rosso was expected to teach online these upcoming semesters, similar to his prior years of teaching. He called the decision to get vaccinated very personal and declined to say whether he had received the COVID vaccine. SC4 quickly responded by sending Rosso a letter in the mail stating his official termination.
What's your view on this Florida doctor?
I think it's crazy that someone was able to get away with fraud in such big numbers 3 times.
Definitely. On a better note, let's talk sports with Luke.
Winning 4 of the last 5, the Lions played the Packers on Sunday, January 8th at Lambeau Field. The Lions beat the Packers 20-16. It was a close and exciting game, but the Lions were eliminated from the playoff contention after the Seattle Seahawks beat the Los Angeles Rams. This win moved the Seahawks to 9-8 on the season and into the 7th seed in the NFC. Now in some AFC news, following the collapse of Bills safety Damar Hamlin during a game last week versus the Bengals, the NFL was conflicted about what to do with the postponed game. They had to decide whether to cancel the game or find a date to reschedule it. On Thursday, they announced that the game would be removed from the schedule. Hamlin is now breathing on his own and recovering well. Moving to some Pac-12 basketball, the UCLA Bruins won against the USC Trojans on Thursday. The Trojans climbed back from an 18-point deficit and made the last minute interesting for the fans. The Bruins went 5 for 22 in the second half and went 8 minutes without scoring a single point. The Bruins' next game will be tonight against their biggest rival, Utah. Now for something closer to home. With the school's second semester quickly approaching, Marysville's winter sports teams have been working hard. Recently, the girls and boys basketball teams went to the SC4 Showcase. This showcase was 3 days long with 48 teams competing. Though the boys took a loss, the girls pulled through with the win. Congratulations, girls. We'll be back with more News Now after the break.
We are there, day 1, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. We are there when you get your first job, helping you to save for the future. We are there when you marry your sweetheart to help secure your new life together. We are there if the unexpected happens, to help you see life from a new perspective. We are there when you start your next chapter to make sure you get off to a great start. And we are there when you lose your soulmate to help make sure you will be all right. We are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us and see what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
This video produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Welcome back to News Now. Nate has a whale of a story for you.
On Wednesday, December 28, 2022, Oregon has officially opened back up to the whale watching after being closed since COVID. They're hoping to draw visitors to catch a glimpse of the annual gray whale migration to the state's coastline. Just yesterday, they have shared that over 500 people have came to visit the whale watching center in Depew Bay. For the next week or so, 17 state parks along the coastline are giving you the experience of watching about 20,000 gray whales make their way south along the coastlines of North America.
As we look forward to the promise that a new year brings, we can also look forward to the promise of what previous years have brought. On January 1st of every year, books, movies, and songs from 95 years ago enter the public domain, meaning they can be modified, adapted, and repurposed by anyone in any way. Some works that entered the public domain this year include The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, The Jazz Singer starring Al Jolson, and Hammerstein and Kern's Old Man River. You can check out a more completed list of notable works through Duke's Center for the Public Domain.
Have you ever been able to experience whale watching?
No, I've always wanted to, though.
Me either. Maybe I'll add that one to the bucket list. Let's talk school with Hunter Likens.
With this upcoming week of school, we have a lot of things going on, starting with the winter dance. Get your dates, dresses, and suits ready because our very own Marysville High School is having a snowcoming dance on January 20th, and it's surely going to be a pleasant night. So get your tickets when you can, or you might miss out on an exciting night and some good memories to look back on. Dance your heart out, be safe, and don't forget to have fun. Have an amazing night. Before you get too excited, we still have exams coming up. So get studying and be ready to ace your test. Marysville High School exam week is coming up. Your first and second hour exams are on January 17th in the morning, each for an hour and a half. Then on the 18th, you have your 6th and 7th hour exams. Finally, on the 19th, which is a half day, you have your 3rd hour exam, and depending on your lunch, you will have your 4th hour exam and 5th hour exam. So once you are done with your exams, you are done with school. Hopefully you all do good on your exams, but going on this week, we have our winter spirit. Staff and students at Marysville High School are participating in Midwinter Break Spirit Week. On Monday, January 9th, staff and students participated in Western and Cowboy Day. Tuesday, January 10th, staff and students participated in Dynamic Duos. Yesterday, staff and students participated for Jersey Day. Today, staff and students are participating in Dress to Impress. Tomorrow, staff and students participate in Whiteout. I hope all the staff and students continue to have a great time participating in Spirit Week. We will be back in a little bit after this break.
Drownings are the #1 cause of accidental death for young children. Simple safety steps are the best way to prevent these tragedies. Make sure kids learn how to swim. Designate an adult water watcher to watch kids in and around water. Save the phone calls and texts for when the kids are out of the water. Properly fence all pools with fences at least 4 feet high and with self-closing, self-latching gates. When above-ground pools aren't in use, remove the ladders. When pools aren't in use, cover them. Teach kids to stay away from drains, and if a child is missing, check the pool or spa first. Consider the steps you take, then add a few more, because you never know which pool safety step will save a life, until it does. Simple steps save lives. To learn some new ones, visit poolsafely.gov.
Welcome back. Let's hear some more exciting stories with Paul.
A potential world-changing vaccine has been discovered for malaria. This vaccine is called the R21. Developed by scientists at the University of Oxford in late 2022, studies have shown it has an 80% success rate in preventing the disease. In West Africa, this vaccine was taken for early testing. It was found to be very successful in preventing malaria. Still in its early stages, more testing is needed before the vaccine is fully ready. Now some revolutionary farming news. The University of Texas, with the help of Texas A&M, have been making some agricultural breakthroughs. The two schools have been working with local soybean farmers to design and test a material that they call biochar. Biochar is made from agricultural waste that can be used as a fertilizer, as well as a filter for water. The researchers have found that when biochar is in the soil, it holds water and absorbs carbon dioxide that the soybeans can then use to grow. The universities hope to create a product to keep our food source healthy when droughts hit. Moving on to some social media news. On January 4th, 2023, Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, was fined roughly $414 million. Meta was fined by Ireland's Data Protection Commission for violating EU data policies. Meta asks for users' permission to use their data for targeted advertisements on Facebook and Instagram, which is illegal. The DPC said that Meta's platforms cannot forcefully take consent from users, as they were asked to either accept the data usage practice or leave the platforms entirely. Now back to Nate and Kaz.
This new biochar can surely make a change in the agricultural business.
Yeah, with our growing population, we need as much ways to get food to them as we can.
Surely. Time to talk entertainment with Hunter Likens.
20th Century Studios' new movie, Avatar: The Way of Water, was recently released in late December of 2022. Between then and now, this outstanding production has surpassed $1 billion at the global box office and is continuing to climb to the top. Avatar: The Way of Water has been pronounced to be the second biggest film behind Top Gun: Maverick in 2022 and is still breaking records. Now heading into the music industry, Quavo released a song in honor of his late nephew and Migos member Takeoff. The song is called Without You, which pays tribute to Takeoff, who was killed in Houston, Texas in November at just 28 years old. Quavo was with Takeoff when he was killed outside a private party. Takeoff was shot by Patrick Xavier Clark, who planned on leaving the country but was then arrested. And our final story of the day, actor Jeremy Renner, who was critically injured last Sunday, was run over by a snowplow weighing more than 14,000 pounds. Renner was using the plow to pull a family member's car out of the snow on a private road. After successfully towing the car, he got out of the plow, which then started to roll. Renner attempted to stop the plow by jumping back into the driver's seat, and the plow struck him. Renner, who underwent surgery last Monday, had a blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries and remained in intensive care in critical but stable condition. Let's head back to Nate and Kaz at the desk.
Glad to hear Mr. Renner is recovering after his surgery. Thanks for tuning in to News Now. I'm Nate Clark.
And I'm Kaz Carty.
And this has been M6.